Hi, this is Kendra Cox, and I'm with Brian Cook with Keller Williams Realty Elite, and we are here to talk to you about Discover Woodward. So with us today is Stacy, and Stacy, you are with the USDA field station here in Woodward.
Yeah, we're USDA Agricultural Research Service. We've been here since 1913. The original land we're standing on was purchased by the county and leased to the USDA for $1 for 100 years. Here we are. What we're standing on now is this is county land, and the state owns a portion of the land, and then the federal government owns the land where Experimentation Lake is. And inside the city we have 950 acres. But also about 4 miles north of Fort Supply we have another 4,000 acres of rangeland that was purchased in 1939.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was really when the mission of this station changed from more small farming to rangeland management. Was in 39, and of course that was after the Dust Bowl era.
Sure.
And it was really thought it was really needed at that time.
Yes.
You have all kinds of different species of trees out here as well, and is that any part of this study as well, or is that just a...
Well, that's not an ongoing research trial, but in 1939 when Dr. Chilcott was here, he was a horticulturist, and one of his missions was that they needed trees that would grow on the prairie for things like this community, tree breaks, for windbreaks.
Right.
And so a lot of this land that's on this side of 22nd Street was planted to trees from all over the world. And we actually have records of people going to like dry areas of the world like Pakistan and stuff and looking for trees that would grow.
That's
here.
really unique. I had no idea. I told you before we started, this is my favorite part of Woodward. I love it right here.
People are always concerned about the amount of money we spend on agricultural research, but for every dollar we spend, we have increased production in different production systems, and that returns dollars to this community. An example, a lot of people don't realize that over by the water tank or across the street, McDonald's, that is where Milo was developed, and that was an agricultural research project here at the station. And if you consider what Milo has done for the Southern Plains economy, I mean, it is growing everywhere. And that was developed by Dr. Sigmaker, which is an interesting story. He went to a conference in Kansas with a bunch of ag engineers, and they're saying, you know, if we had a plant about this tall, we could cut that with the combine instead of, they use a product called broom corn. And you'd had to cut it by hand, and it was just I'd say a man and woman killer because it was, you had to cut it during the summer when it was hot.
Right.
But they said, if we had a plant this tall, and Dr. Sigmaker said, you know what, I have a dwarf plant in Woodward. And that's where it all started in the 1930s. The first Milo was released. It was called Redland, and it was released from this station. We've developed what's called an indirect calorimeter here, so we can calculate the animal's energy use, cattle that are actually grazing on pasture. We work with a company out of South Dakota doing that, and the first machine was developed here 6 or 7 years ago. It didn't hit the national news or anything, but it happened here. Yeah.
That's really cool.
It is.
Yeah. And last time I checked with the company, there's about 75 of those machines being used worldwide.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah. But those are just a few of the things we've done here. So you guys know.
Very cool.
Great. Well, we appreciate your time, and this is a great resource to Woodward to have this facility and the employment that it brings, and the world-changing inventions and studies you guys are doing.
We'll be expanding the grass breeding a little bit. We just hired a new scientist. He will not be here until for a couple of weeks. It's kind of with the pandemic, it's kind of a strange way to hire
Yeah,
got
it is,
done.
isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
Well, thank you so much. We
Thank
really
you.
appreciate your time.